I'm in Tulum, Mexico, and I'm going to be attending my very first Temazcal ceremony. Temazcal is a practice native to Mexico in which you detoxify your body via the process of sweating, emotional purging, using the properties of smoke cleansing of herbs. And the process takes place in a little earthen enclosure that represents Mother Earth and the womb. So this practice is very connective to nature, and I'm very honored to be taking part in the ceremony that has been around for centuries and has been part of the native culture. So I'm very honored to be able to take part in this and detoxify and purify my body in a way that was ancient wisdom, basically. So this process, like I mentioned, will be detoxifying via sweat, any toxins, impurities, but also emotional detoxification. So I can be crying. I read on the website there can be screaming. So I guess stay tuned. We'll show you some videos of what this process looks like and how it goes. We will also do a recap after and discuss my experiences, feel the energy shifts, things like that. And this ceremony tonight is also extra special because we're going to be utilizing the frequency of this particular phase of the moon, which is encouraging detoxification, encouraging letting go and releasing anything that no longer serves us, as well as coming into balance with ourselves and stepping into our purpose. So again, I'm very excited. I really don't know what to expect. I feel like I'm going to be detoxifying a lot. So stay tuned and wish me luck, and I'm excited to share with you. Am I able to like bring it like
yes,
in there? Yeah.
It's your temazcal.
Thank you.
Quetzalcoatl house. Here is the knowledge, okay? In this door, please put your intention for the temazcal. The second door is the house of Huitzilopochtli. It's your heart, your emotion, your feelings, your water, okay? The third door is the house of Xipetotec. It's the transmutation, the fire. And the fourth door is the house of Mictlantecutli. It's the materia, the earth, okay? And your ancestors. Now I salute the four directions in Nahuatl language. And please, when I see Nikanka, please the same Nikanka. Nikanka, it's here and now. Se Tlahuistlampa. Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Tlahuistlampa Chaneque. Yayanca Tzalcoa, Diguanejecad. Nikanka.
Nikanka.
Ome, Huitztlampa. Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Huitztlampa Chaneque. Yayan Huitzilopochtli, Yayan Tlalo. Nikanka.
Nikanka.
Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Sihuactlampa Chaneque. Yayan Xipetotec, Iguan Camachli. Nikanka.
Nikanka.
Nahui, Mictlampa. Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Mictlampa Chaneque. Yayan Mictlantecutli, Iguan Tezcatlipoca. Nikanka.
Nikanka.
Now to the sky. Macuili, Ilhuicactlampa. Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Ilhuicactlampa Chaneque, Yayan Nanamesli, Tatatonati, Citralinique. Nikanka.
Nikanka.
Chicuase, Tlactlampa. Axcan, Senca, Totlasocamachililia, in Tlactlampa Chaneque, Yayan Tonancintlalicuatlicue. Nikanka. la palmita.
Ya estoy.
Bueno, la manito se puso bebé. Bueno, ahorita tú me dices cuál es agarrar.
So the Temazcal experience was so beautiful. The ceremony was unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life before. And it was definitely a journey. It was an entire process. The ceremony itself was broken up into kind of like 5 parts. The first part was just smoke cleansing outside of the little earthenware hut, and the practitioner was addressing the 4 directions, which are a very important part of the ceremony and to the culture as well. And each direction was correlated with a different element. And we also address the earth, like the sky, the celestial energies as well. And after we addressed the 4 directions together as a group, we then went into the earthenware hut for the Temazcal ceremony. And the ceremony from there on was broken up into 4 different parts, and each of them were called doors. Each door had a different purpose, and the first door was the door of our intentions, essentially. After we were essentially bowing into the Temazcal hut, we had to get on our knees and put our forehead on the earthenware stone. And after we did that and we ceremoniously entered the hut, we walked around from left to right and sat down. And then the practitioners passed hot coals into the middle of the hut. And as these hot coals were placed into the center of the hut, that's what was creating the heat from inside the hut. And we had to take turns passing a little piece of copal and placing it on the hot stone that was just put inside the hut, while mentally making our intention for that specific door. So for the first door, as we were putting the copal on the hot coal, the intention was mentally addressing why we're in the Temazcal ceremony, what we want to release, what the purpose is, and what we're hoping to get out of it. So, as well as those mental affirmations, we also were verbally affirming what our intentions were for each door. And then once the door had started, we closed the entrance where the coals were being passed and the top. So all of the heat from the coals was starting, and the herbs and water were creating a very smoky sweat lodge type of environment. And it basically caused your body to sweat a lot. The first door was really not bad, and I definitely think it gave me false hope because it was honestly a little refreshing from the heat of the Mexican jungle. So it wasn't bad, and we were also asked to sing along. Each door had different songs that were created by the practitioners and some instruments as well. And we were asked to do our best to sing along or hum along with the songs. It was a little difficult for me at first because it's a different language, and I was really just trying to match somewhat the hum sound of it, because we were told it's our vibration that creates almost like the entrance for the spirits to help us with this ceremony. That was the first door. And then the second door definitely got hotter. The second door was about the mental body, and We also had hot coals come in on this one. We had to put the copal there, and again, what we wanted to release, what our intentions were, and everything like that. And we had to verbally say them after as well, and more singing and everything of the like. After the second door, we were offered the ability to leave the hut in a ceremonial way and drink some water and go in the pool if it was too much. So we actually did take this offer up, and we did leave the Earthenware Hut for a few minutes to drink some water, go in the pool. I literally went in my dress. I fully just jumped right in the pool. And it was so hot and so sweaty, and I was feeling a little like I was going to pass out, but maybe more in just like a dramatic way. I don't know if I was actually going to pass out. I didn't pass out, so that's okay. But we were also informed that according to the ancestors who do the Temazcal ceremonies, that's like not really something that they would do in practice. But since it's for people who have never really done these types of ceremonies or anything like that before, it's more important that they don't have like a traumatic experience, and they are allowed to leave the hut and get some water or anything like that if we need. So we then resumed the third door. In a ceremonious way, we went back into the earthenware hut of the Temazcal ceremony, and we had to redo the same process of getting into the hut. And then more hot coals came in, and then this door specifically was about purging the physical body, so getting any toxins or anything like that out. And we had to again do the copal intentions with each hot stone that came in. In this door, we had to face away from the hot coals, and we did essentially a child's pose position with our hips back towards the coals and our hands and face facing the outside of the hut. And this was to essentially purify and allow the Kundalini energy from our bodies to go up. This door was so hot. I remember this is probably where I thought I was dying, really. I like physically thought that I was dying. And of course, that's just like your body, your mind. And that is actually the purpose of the Temazcal ceremony, is to, for one, purify your mind, body, spirit, like all of your bodies, not just your physical body. And the purpose is essentially to force an ego death in a way, like to completely shut off your mind and just allow the experience and the cleansing and things like that. So at this gate, that's where that started happening for me, where I was so focused on just not dying. And I think that's maybe a normal human response to the Temazcal ceremony. But your whole being, all of your energy is focused on survival. I guess that's like a primal instinct. But after that, we were offered another opportunity to leave the hut and get some water and go in the pool, but we did not this time. We wanted to keep going through the ceremony. The fourth door is the door of the ancestors, and this door is where my mind completely shut off. I was so focused on not dying in the very beginning of this ceremony, and after we did the copal intentions, with this time the intentions being addressing our ancestors, our loved ones who have passed on, we then started the last door of the ceremony. And I was actually laying on my back on the floor of the stone hut, and I had my hands in a position like this on top of my forehead, like my third eye, literally just like this. And it wasn't something that we had to do. It was just something intuitive that I just did as I was focusing on not dying, and my brain had shut off, and I fully put all of my energy into the song and trying to hum along with the song. And at some point it just turned into like me channeling all of the words that they were singing. And like I mentioned, these are all different songs for each door, and I didn't know the words, but somehow it was just kind of channeling through me, and it really felt like I was leaning into the strength of my ancestors, the ancestors of the area, the Temazcal ceremony, like leaning into the energy and the strength of those that came before me to allow me to get through this ceremony with the strength that I needed. And for anybody who hasn't done a Temazcal ceremony, that might seem really dramatic, but it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. My mind had completely shut off and my body was just there. Like I was fully just leaning into the songs. And that's truly what got me through it. And I was feeling soul chills at the fourth door of the ancestors. And it was so incredibly hot in there. There was no way it was like my body getting chills, but it was definitely something else. Like it was the presence of something else there. And I am a more spiritually inclined person, but I do feel very confident when I say that, especially addressing soul chills. So if anybody doesn't know what soul chills are, it's essentially when your spirit is in resonance with something more. Like you can feel that there's more. It's not just physical. And it was something beautiful. Like in my third eye, I could see an image of indigenous ancestors, and I thought that was really beautiful, especially that that was the gate that we were on, and I was really leaning into the song and the chanting and everything like that. I could feel it moving through my bones. It's truly a very spiritual experience, and there is definitely presence of something beyond that we're channeling in, calling in to help us with this process. So it's something that transcends human words, honestly. I'm very grateful to have been able to attend this and set my intentions to purify my mind, body, and soul and things like that. And I had really set the intentions of releasing anything that was blocking me, anything physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like I had set the intentions to completely purge it from my body to the best of my ability and allow me to move forward on my path and give me clarity with what it is I'm here to do and to share. And I really do think that happened in a different way, and maybe not in a way that I expected it. I mean, of course, during the ceremony, it was profuse sweating. After, it was a lot of emotions as well. And I actually got sick completely separately from the ceremony. Like the ceremony did not cause it or anything, but I had gotten sick, which had started right before the Temazcal ceremony. My body was in chills and aches and sweats, and I didn't know if it was just my body like preparing for the purge, because after the Temazcal, I had no energy. I was completely sleeping for like days, and I was in chills and sweats and aches and all of that. Again, I couldn't really move, and my body couldn't regulate temperature. I didn't really know what was going on. And come to find out, after a couple days of more symptoms and getting worse and going to the hospital here, I had gotten sick from having some kind of food or drink that my body had never seen before. And I had only ever had something like this happen once before when I was in Egypt, but the symptoms were very different this time. So I didn't really know what it was. I couldn't identify it, but the doctor had mentioned it wasn't the Temazcal ceremony that made me sick, but rather the Temazcal ceremony had forced this bacteria, this sickness out of my body way quicker than if I didn't do the ceremony, which I think is interesting because that is the intention of the ceremony, is to detoxify and purify your vessel. I definitely think it did that in a physical way, but also ironically an emotional way. I think it was a really interesting purge of a different mindset that I had as well, of like hyper independence, of I need to do things on my own and feel like I can do that. And it's just so beautiful because this ceremony and that particular experience of the ceremony really reinforced the human connection that we so desperately are missing in these times, that we are an interdependent species. We are supposed to be reliant on each other. And like the old saying of "it takes a village" is there for a reason. And these were the ways of our ancestors, of the people that came before us, of being connected and really understanding what it is that's important in life. And this process has really helped me see that in a much more clear light. I've also had a lot of clarity come through with more of who I am as a person and who I'm not, and separating those kind of mental constructs and what it is that I really like to do and what I'm here to do. So I'm still on that path of figuring it out, but the Temazcal ceremony has definitely made it way more clear. And I, again, am so grateful to have experienced this ceremony. I would definitely recommend for anybody interested. And according to the practitioners, it's perfectly safe. They even had a 90-something-year-old woman the other day who wanted more of the Temazcal ceremony. She was thriving afterwards. So it's very safe in that way. But of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a practitioner. You should ask your doctor or practitioner if that is something that you would be able to do, should be able to do, things like that. And it's a very transcendental experience. It was something very spiritual as well. And anybody interested in connecting more with their spirit and disidentifying more with the mind, I would definitely recommend a ceremony like this. Yeah, it was a really beautiful experience, and I'm very grateful for it. And it definitely felt detoxifying, purifying in a way that I've never really experienced before. It was something that incorporated the soul, and I'm very grateful for the people here, the practitioners that share this wisdom and allow us into their ceremonies. Okay.